Hello and welcome to this Warhammer Fantasy News and Rumours video with me, Mark, from the Xenovids channel. So now I am going to be showing you some new rumours about the Age of Sigmar. So this person here has had a look at the new Age of Sigmar book. It's going to be in 3 books, similar to how the Warhammer 40k 7th edition was. So it looks like there's going to be the novels and story, it's going to be the images, and then the third one, which is the juicy bit, the rules. And that is what this person is all writing about. So the title of the rulebook is Age of Sigmar, a Warhammer strategy game. It's a fully fledged rule system, no skirmish game, meaning not restricted to low miniature counts. 50 models on average, way lower possible. In general, you use units, but you can field an army consisting of only single models. Everything, now this is a big one, everything is on round or oval bases. There are paragraphs that explicitly allow legacy and diorama bases though. So this now looks like Warhammer Fantasy is changing. The bases are changing. Warhammer Fantasy is now completely different from what it used to be. They are starting completely over again. It's a good thing I didn't base any high elves. 2 books, rules and scenarios and compendium pictures. So yeah, just what we just talked about. And there are unit cards for every, as far as this person can see, old unit in the 2nd book, including Warhammer Forged models and most still special characters. Some units get the full treatment with small fluff and text and pictures, etc, etc. All new rules with complete new mechanics. Think not of 40k 2nd and 3rd changes, but Warhammer 8, bit of Blood Bowl, very compact, fast-paced, huge emphasis on individual champions, magic and gods. Don't know how powerful, but these have the most rules pages. There are no photos and no artworks of new miniatures except for a couple of Chaos and Human miniatures that are very likely from the Age of Sigmar box. All the races are in, which is good news for Ian, who has a lot of lizardmen and a lot of dwarves. But some are very clearly favoured. There are a few pictures of beastmen and lizard, for example. Some units like steam tanks, gunpowder units. Skaven and the new dwarves use them still, and can only be fielded as mercenaries from a different world or summoned units. In case of most species, there is even a picture of Teclis painted in ghost colours. The tech level was between ancient Rome, Empire and medieval times. Lots of nomadic barbarian tribes, but judging by to the Age of Sigmar miniatures, the armour design draws only a little bit from history and has a very stylised high fantasy design instead. This then suggests to me that everything is changing and even the models are changing. You can have a collection of, say, high elves like I have, and Ian has the old dwarves and lizard men. But if you want to really play fantasy Age of Sigmar, you have to start all over again, which is quite interesting. There are lots of different people, races and gods, and lots of different alliances. The world is a lot more open-minded than the old one. Empire Orc Alliance would be unthinkable, but a human whacking force is now unusual in this setting. Army building. You pick one or more gods that determine the lethargic or magic schools. Don't know what the difference is, this person says. And you can use how your champions get power-ups during the game. You can take several gods, but they have to be from the same pantheon. So no Nurgle Sigmar armies, but more Nagash and more is possible. Then you choose whichever we want. The only mechanic that I spotted that limits the useful choices somehow is that most spells and special rules only affect units with certain traits. The power of Grimgore, magic and gods are always connected. Each lore has a patron god that grants the power. Affects only mortals or enemy units in the proximity of mortals. There are only rules for one pantheon in the rulebook. Guardians of Regalia, conglomerate, native spirits and gods, and lately some new gods. Interesting. Rules. There seems to be a huge shake-up with the rules, where we have melee, range, might, armour, initiative, resolve and wounds. I don't know if this is how Lord of the Rings was used to be played, but any Lord of the Rings players should let me know. Simple turn sequence. Initiative, player 1 unit moves 1 unit, shoots and casts. Player 1 unit 2 moves, shoots and casts. So everything is individually based. Players roll against each other, for example, melee versus initiative and range versus initiative, might versus armour. Units regenerate all lost wounds at the end of the phase. Both sides in melee fight simultaneously. Winner can roll to fight instantaneously. These are all very interesting and quite a lot to take in. Setting: the game is set on world Regalia that is connected with the other Young Realms through portals of the Old Ones. Young Realms are realms that were populated by the old creators and were guided on similar historical paths. They were untouched by chaos, but this has changed since the arrival of Sigmar as a new faith and Archaon as an actual emissary in flesh and blood. There is no explanation, or just a brief one so that this person has missed it, how this is all going to be, just a description of the history of Regalia. On Regalia is dominated by hundreds of human kingdoms. Fast travel is possible for a number of stone circles that allows mages to open portals from one another to another. So again, this would explain why lots of different armies can fight each other. There's more written here, but I'll let you read that. Humans are the majority in this world, and they have kingdoms and tribes everywhere. Most of the known Earth-inspired regions like Cathafi are there. So what it seems to be is... oh, and women fight amongst men. So what it seems to be is the old Warhammer that we all know and love is now gone, and we've just opened up these new realms and these new realities and kind of things, saying there's more to it. There's an expansion of fantasy there. Right, the Skaven arrived on their own and are basically the same. Haven't spent much time there, and they have now 3 gods. The dwarves, or Dwarikor, and elves have their own realms that are connected with Regalia. Interesting, it doesn't really go much into more detail. The dwarves are only a legend on Regalia, and nobody has seen them. There are legends, aid of workships, blah blah blah. So similar to how Skyrim is. You know the dwarves were there, but you never really see a dwarf. And then it goes into more detail as we go along about Skaven and Chaos and Orcs and Undead. But like I said, I'll let you read this one. I'll put it in the description below for you. So all very interesting, a lot to digest really. Please leave a comment in the comment section below about what you think about all this. It does seem pretty legitimate about it. So new bases, new models will be coming on the way, it seems like, and a whole new look for Warhammer Fantasy. The Warhammer Fantasy we know and we're used to is gone. Age of Sigmar is what we now have. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Mark from the Xenoviz channel, and I'll see you on the next video.